Hello everyone, welcome back. Thank you for joining me. If you're joining me live, if you're joining me on YouTube, obviously thank you for watching me on YouTube instead. Thank you for whatever is appropriate for how you're consuming this content. Hello, welcome back. We're going to dive straight in because we have been away for a very long time. Too long, probably. Alrighty, I am very sorry for not streaming over Christmas, New Year, first half of January. Shortly after Boxing Day, I picked up the world's worst sort of cold, but every single symptom came one after the other. So I had a fever for a couple of days, and then I had the cough for like a week, and then after the cough came the sinus. Anyway, it was horrible. But we are back, and more importantly, we are. Thank you, Castro. Yes, we are indeed back. Properly back. Back to what some Minecraft tushy. Trying to remind myself to stay PG-13. Cool. So yeah, very sorry about that. Was very sick. Now less sick. So we're going to kick off. And we have a few things to show you because while I was ill, I did do some Minecrafting. Nothing terribly strenuous. Apart from that, and we will come to that in a moment. But first things first, I'm using Sonic Ether's Unbelievable Shaders, Seus, as we have always been doing on this stream, and he has released, Cody has released version 1 of seus-renewed, which is a brand new sort of reworking, reimagining of his shader pack. Obviously, water still looks as stunning as ever. I am running it on ultra nuts mode with I think everything. I think the only thing I could turn on is the is the bump mapping, but this texture pack doesn't support it anyway. So presumably because it's a monstrous amount of work. So yes, we are using seus-renewed. I will be updating the stream description and other bits and pieces. I think I've actually updated Moobot. So now I think if we type !version, yeah, here we go. This version of Minecraft, something, renewed version 1. Perfect. So that's what we're using. There is an updated Optifine as well. I will install that and let you guys know how that goes with 1.12 and seus-renewed. I'm not expecting any problems. So that's cool. So that's the first thing really to talk about. Second thing to talk about is we have some name tags. Now, I didn't think that was that high. Sprained ankle. We're getting off to a good start. How we came by the name tags we'll go into in a moment, but we have some name tags, and they are very funky. So picking up a name tag in Minecraft is one thing. Actually naming the name tag, you need an anvil. Obviously we have an anvil. It's looking a bit rusty at the moment. It's looking a bit horrible. But we have a couple of spare name tags here. So suggestions in chat if you want to name something. But first and foremost, and most importantly, we have the Leeroy name tag, and we're going to get started. First thing we do today, other than me running around because I can't stay still while I'm talking. Here we go. So we already have the chicken coop for Leeroy and friends. So now we need to name Leeroy officially. Unfortunately, we also need to identify Leeroy. You look like a rum cove. Here we go, Leeroy. There you are. Forevermore. Finally named him. So yeah, we came across a bunch of name tags, and the reason we came across a bunch of name tags is because I was feeling very upset with myself because I was very sick, very ill, and about the only thing I could bring myself to do, other than that huge thing in the distance, and we'll get to that in another minute. Bear with me. is I did a lot of fishing. So just in order to make it look a bit nicer, and I need to start building for sort of attractiveness as well as as well as pure functionality. As a programmer, I'm like, I need a house. I need a 3x3x3 cube with a bed in it. But we also need to make this look pretty as well, because we're trying to teach everybody how to play survival Minecraft and how to make things look nice too. So I built a jetty, which is pretty, and I did a hell of a lot of fishing off this jetty. And I was fishing and fishing and fishing and fishing, and I can't tell you how many salmon and cod I fished up. Huge amounts of salmon and cod. Frankly, ridiculous amounts of salmon and cod, you know. I forget the name of that Japanese fish market, but I totally had more fish than they do. Daily basis. Castro, I can sense Leeroy's happiness from here. He is finally being recognised. So as you can see, we've got a monstrous amount of cod, gargantuan amounts of salmon. Nothing in there. Okay, so yeah, we've got just crazy amounts of fish. We've also got clownfish. Don't really know what they do. Pufferfish, which is a properly metal fish. It's like pineapple, actually, is pufferfish. Pineapple has an enzyme in it that can degrade human flesh. So while you're eating pineapple, pineapple eats you. Which, and if that's not metal, I don't know what is. But yes, of course, the livers of pufferfish are extremely toxic. Don't eat them unless you're at a proper restaurant. So, public service announcement over. What was it talking about? Fishing. Yes. So I did a lot of fishing. Let's just leave it at that. We did a lot of fishing. And one day I fished up this. Just realised I've run completely to the wrong end of the map. Here we go. Bear with me, I haven't streamed for a month, so I'm all confused and stuff. Here we go. So what I fished up was I fished up a rod which had mending, unbreaking 2 or 3, luck of the sea 3, and lure 3. So as you see it there, that's what we fished up. Unfortunately, it was down to 1 out of 64 durability. I mean, this thing was about to bust completely. So holding it tenderly as one might a feather, or a vase that one has promised one's mother not to break, I sort of gingerly carried it back in here and immediately fused it with another fishing rod which had unbreaking something on it in the anvil, leading to this thing, which I've called the Old Gnome of the Sea, which is a World of Warcraft reference if anyone wants to spot that. And it has a whole bunch of things. I mean, normally when you fish, there is something like a delay of between 5 and 45 seconds. So a random number is picked between 5 and 45. And when that number is reached in seconds, a stream of bubbles comes along and just sort of appears. There's your fish, or there's your boot, or there's your whatever. One of these even. And so lure, yes, lure shortens that time. I can't remember how much it shortens it by, but lure 3 shortens it by a lot. Sometimes I've thrown this thing into the spooled. I don't know what. I don't fish. I've sent out the thinger. Technical term. I've sent out the thinger into the water. Cast. Made a cast, right? Took far too long. Made a cast, and stuff has appeared right away. So it can shorten it by at least 5 seconds, or more likely probably a percentage. Luck of the sea changes how you roll on the loot tables. So you tend to fish up less awful stuff, less rubbish, more often. So you tend to get better items. Unbreaking, not sure what it does on a. Well, unbreaking delays durability damage, so I guess this rod will last longer. But mending is really interesting. I didn't even know what that did. I had to look it up. And mending, if you gain XP while wielding something with mending, a small proportion of the XP goes to... Is that a feather in my office? Go away. It assigns some portion of the XP to the durability of the item that you're holding. So fishing gains you XP. It's an activity that gives you XP, and some of that XP mends the rod. So as far as I can tell, I must have made 200, 300 casts with this rod. I was very sick over the holidays. And as you can see, it hasn't taken any damage at all. While I was fishing, obviously this is where the other name tags came from, and I also fished up a bow with Unbreaking 3, Power 4, and Flame, which I believe sets arrows on fire, which is also metal AF. So I immediately fused that with another power bow that I had lying around, and so now that's a power 5, which I believe is plus 250% damage. And it sets things on fire. So that's nice. Yeah, didn't find too many more diamonds. We're kind of stuck with our previous diamond quantity. We have Old Faithful, our mining pickaxe, and we still have our faithful iron sword, Dr. Pepper Zero. So I know that's an appalling name. I'm listening to myself now, and I know it's an appalling name. We have to change it. So yeah, we have a few things that I want to get done today. We will talk about the giant, great big thing over that way in a moment. Ta-da! It's a brand new day. Let's talk about it now. Let's get it out of the way. Then we can start with the building. So, there is an excellent video on YouTube on how to accomplish an iron farm. Now I was, as you can imagine, unable to really stream because I was myself streaming over the holidays. Puns, yeah. I was able to build this thing completely fairly. I did cheat on one thing, and I'll tell you what I cheated on. But all this has been built with materials that we had to hand, except for occasionally I ran out of cobblestone, and that's why there's a giant pit in the middle of nowhere. But yes, I was looking. I heard about an iron farm, and I'd heard about them, but this really reminded me of it, and I suddenly thought, what if I could legitimately build an iron farm in the game? Now, unfortunately, we have not yet found a village, because the aspect that I had to cheat on, because I wanted to see if it was working. The aspect that I had to cheat on was I needed to obtain villagers. Now, normally what you would do is you would build a minecart system, which quite literally delivers the villagers to their little pods. Now, you may have seen that there are a ton of doors. These doors go all the way around this structure, and the presence of these doors, the fact that all these doors are quite close by, causes villagers to become willing, and I think they also have to be fed. We have to feed them like 1,000,000 bread, but eventually you end up with, hopefully, 4 villagers in there, 4 villagers in here, and so on, 4 in there and 4 in there. And what happens is this causes iron golems to spawn to protect them. Unfortunately, your iron golem spawns and is immediately blown all the way through to a collection apparatus that we have not yet built. And then they fall down here, and then they float along. In fact, I think I'm building the next one over there. So they fall down, and then they float along. You douse them in a bit of lava at the end, and then they all fall into a little pod at the end. The design of this iron farm is absolutely amazing, and I will link it in the description to this video on YouTube and on Twitch, because I learnt an awful lot in that video. I'd forgotten that you can use signs to prevent water and lava from moving past them, that sort of thing. The use of entities, because they stopped. You used to be able to drop a torch down underwater, and it would give you a little air pocket to breathe in. But then they stopped that, and I assumed that everything else had stopped as well. But no, you can still use signs to prevent water, which is why it's what happens to the iron golems as they're floating toward the eventual sort of doom room. You put enough lava just where their heads are, because they're about 3 blocks tall. So just as they're floating along, they start to float into these lava blocks. So they take a huge bunch of lava damage to the face, and then they end up in the doom room with like a hit point left, and you just walk in there and bop them to death. So very cool XP and iron farm, because I think iron golems drop about 3 or 4. They drop about 3 or 4 iron ingots each. And it does get mental, so that is something that I am fiddling with. But now that the stream is back on track, when I build the next one, I'll show you exactly how I do it. But it all comes from this video that I found on YouTube. It was linked, I think, originally from the wiki. So the wiki said, "Here, this is how to do it." And we will be building another one of those. You can build another one. I think 80 blocks up in the air. You can build another one of these self-contained little generation pod things. But I don't think I'll be doing that. I think I'll just do 2, and just to see if it works really. We probably won't use the iron from it, since I'm trying to just get the proof of concept working. Still, let us come to what we wanted to do today. And what I would like to do today is I would like to build a minecart track. I say today, it will probably take us a couple of episodes. We're going to build a minecart track from this shore across to this shore, through the sand and round the corner and off toward the swamp biome, because there are things in swamp that spawn in swamp biomes that we are going to need later. Mainly slimes, slime balls, which give us magma creams, very, very useful for potion making. And also slime balls are good for sticky pistons as well. When we start doing some redstone craziness, we will be able to create pufferfish. Do I want to leave you in there? Right. So, construction materials. I have also been digging out a lot of sand. A lot of sand led to a lot of glass as well. So we've got tons of glass here. There's like a zillion glass. How are you doing, chat? Are you still with me? Are you still with me? I did enjoy Will Arnett actually on the in the Minecon this year. He was very cool. He mentioned Batman a few times, and then he was like, "Every time I say Batman in this voice, I get money." It's very cool. I found it hilarious. My little boy, my 8-year-old, was watching Minecon, bits of Minecon with me, and we were voting on which mob should join the game. Doors. And we were watching it, and you could see his little head trying to work out who is this person and why do I know this voice, and straight out of Lego Batman. It's brilliant. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to go straight across to other side, but because it would look far more awesome, we're actually going to go through the water, and we're going to go down as well, several blocks down into the water. So we're going to have the station like that station there, here. It's going to be functional to begin with, but I think we'll build like a nicer station around it later. We're going to start here, and we're going to go down into the water with glass sloped sides. So it's like a tunnel. I think I'll keep the tunnel open to the air to begin with until we work out how to light this thing. But yeah, so that's what we're going to be about. It's mid-afternoon. Okay, so let's get started. Where are we? We start here. I'm going to go crashing right into that If we start here, that is a lot more workable. Okay, let's go from here then. Yes, there are some lovely new effects in seus-renewed. At the end of this, toward the end of this episode, if someone reminds me in chat, because brain doesn't work. If someone reminds me, we will go into the swing and a miss. We'll go onto the creative server and I'll show you rain. Rain looks very cool now. Can I reach that? Yes, I can. Whoops. So we want all the sides to be glass, but I'd also like to go down a bit. I'd like to have a dip so we go right underwater. That would be cool. So I think what we'll do is we'll just build this up first. So. Oh, with everything wibbling about it makes it quite difficult to see things. I wouldn't change it. I'm still impressed. Doink. There we go. I'm nearly out of glass. How did that happen? What? That's insane. Okay. So what we'll do now, what we'll do first, is we'll just build this as it is, and then I will dig down, work out what slopes I want to do, and then if we have any extra wall that we want to turn into glass, then we'll do that at that stage, I think. Ta-da! Right. So next magic ingredient. Get out of it. So yeah, how are you, chat? What's up with you? I've been very ill. I may have mentioned it multiple times. It made me very cross. Every single day that I felt more able to stream, I thought I might do a stream this evening. I think I could possibly. No. Ooh, it's dark. Let's head back. Go to sleep. Up we go. Yeah, so there is a new Optifine version available. I need to get that installed. I was not going to do it immediately before streaming this morning, just in case I managed to differently succeed. Yes, Castro's cat has been attacking the screen. So now that we've destroyed all the water source blocks down here, we can just dig down now, and it's absolutely fine. I'm glad things are well with you, Castro. Liking the villagers, yeah. No, I love the villagers. You tend to, different resource packs tend to do cool things with them, so sometimes you get that. I can't remember which resource pack. It might be Dokacraft actually, where all the villagers are Jawas. From episode 4, it's ooh TV and all this kind of thing, and that's just all they do all day long. If you've spent any time around villagers, you tend to get there's an awful lot of generic going on. I might quite like to get that to get some of the Onion Knight sounds from Dark Souls. Get that guy involved. I cannot believe that his name has gone out of my head. chap who always says, oh ho, that guy. That's what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Okay, so that's about as far down as I think we should go, because that's pretty cool. I do not have enough glass to fill all this in, however. So let's go and put some glass on. Hui! Let's go and put some glass on order. Yoink. Do we have enough coal? Kinda. Let's not do it with coal though, that's boring. Noobs cook things with coal. Lava bucket. Oh yes. That's the metal way to do things. Cooking with lava. Actually, cooking with lava is a that reminds me of there's a restaurant in I think it's Lanzarote. Most of Lanzarote, if not the entire thing, is basically a volcanic rock with molten magma just below the surface. But they have a vent. Goodness only knows how far down it goes, but they have a vent and they cook all their, a lot of their poultry and beef and other things just over this vent, just like a metal grill. It's enormous. It's like a great big sort of paella dish. Sigmire, thank you. Portable, welcome to the stream. It was lovely to see you. I haven't seen anybody for months. It feels like months. It's a month. Sigmire, yes, of course, the Onion Knight. He's the man, that guy. He's so cool. And then we get our bucket back. So the bucket is apparently impervious to lava, so that's really cool. Right, so that's going to be as deep as we're going to go, but I do not want it to look like that. I want it to look better than that. So let's use some cobblestone. There we go. Give it a bit more of a homogeneous appearance. Tell me, sir and madam, have you been introduced to our Lord and Saviour, Disco? Hui, there we go. Yoink. Portable with the EMB emotes. It's horrible that his internet is down and so frequently messed with. I don't know how he does what he does under those constraints. I really don't. Man's a hero. Okay. Let's put a little bit of glass in for now. So obviously the water at some point is going to come swarming in. I said the water! Huh. Still sand. Still sand. Still sand. Hello? I'm wasting my time here. It's the water. Oh, it's right there. Okay, fair play. Yeah, I mean, to do as much streaming and especially YouTube uploading with really properly rubbish internet is crazy. You must have the patience of a saint. Okay, so obviously we're a little bit too low for the. I wonder what happens if I just start cheating, making it look better. I wonder what happens if we do that. Now technically those blocks below should be flow blocks, but no, they look really nice. Okay, that's cool. We'll do it that way then. he's moved. He's waiting to get his into. Okay, fair enough. Because I know he'd rented out an office just to get vaguely tolerable vaguely acceptable internet. That's horrible. Many things we take for granted. Okay, got those. Okay, so that will probably be our starting position. Button. There we go. That dirt block there will be a convenient buffer for us to bonk up against and stop moving. It's a painful thing about water. If you're stood out of the water, because the player is about 2 blocks high, so if you're 2 blocks out of the water, hello, you can dig without any problems. But if you're actually underwater, it takes a lot longer. Obviously, I'm using a very fast shovel here, so it doesn't really illustrate the point very well. But you know, there we go. Yes, for all those wondering how you can right-click to place an entity on a thing which has a right-click action like a furnace, you just hold Shift. Shift and place and place. I realised a few videos ago, I was just re-watching some stuff, but I do an awful lot of little keyboard shortcuts and little cunning things without explaining them, which is naughty of me, and we shall stop doing that. Castro, have you killed all the fish you have, or can we make an aquarium? An aquarium would be brilliant, but fish do not appear to actually exist in the world. You obtain them as loot from fishing, but you don't have living fish in the world. I'm sure that there will be a mod for that out there somewhere. And when we are a little bit more comfortable with this particular series, we might well install a mod pack or 5. There are mod packs that introduce amazing new biomes like enchanted forests and stuff like that, together with enchanted like beasts and zombies and stuff. It's really cool. Alrighty. Oh no, it's night time. That's why I came indoors. Let us sleep. What kind of a restriction is that? You can only sleep at night. Rubbish. Sleep anytime. So we have a small amount of glowstone remaining. I would probably quite like some more. There's some oak fence going on. It is a question though how we're going to light this. I mean, I can run torches. Feels a bit lame, but I can run torches just across the top of the glass, pretty much as we have at the moment. But we're also going to need some redstone torches as well for keeping the redstone rails live. What I might just use redstone block for that, because we have so many. Look at this. I mean, that's what, 111 right there. Woof. So powered rail and rail. So let's grab our rails. Rail, and we need to make some. So let us take some gold. We have some sticks. We have any redstone? Nope. Nope. Put the granite away. There we go. Now we've got some redstone. So if I recall correctly, IIRC. It's like an iron rail, but with gold, and a chunk of redstone. There we go. That creates our powered rails. Now we're going to need at least 4 or 5 on the down incline, because we'll be coming back up it the other way. We're going to need at least 4 or 5 at the other end. We're going to need at least 4 or 5 along the middle. So let's make 24, shall we? If we can. Don't think I have enough. That's 20, that's not too bad. But no, an aquarium is a really good idea actually. That would be cool. So we have as many powered rails as I think we need. We're probably only going to get as far as doing the doing this little water section today. So yeah, I've got tons of fishing rods and bows just lying around. It's really cool. As soon as I picked up the really good fishing rod, I just started fishing up treasure items like enchanted bows all the time. It was mad. I think more than one of these I think has been merged once or twice just to get rid of them. Good. Picked up some iron. So yes, I probably mentioned it before, but when you're holding a stack, if you when you're holding a stack and you right mouse, you will place a single block. Yeah. If you double click, you pick up as many of those blocks as the game can, so to the stack maximum. If you hold down right mouse, you will draw a line of single blocks. So if I hold down right mouse, I can then drag along, but you'll notice it's only putting one down at a time. If you do the same with left mouse, holding it down, because obviously left mouse just drops, but if you pick up and you hold down left mouse, what will happen is it will divide equally the blocks you have into the squares that you draw it into. So with 14, if I draw to the right, it will be 7 in both. Boom, like that, which is very cool. What are you on about, Jamie? I hear some of you asking. Well, what you can do is you can drag around like that, and it's just once you've got it into your sort of personal shortcuts directory, it's actually much faster. It makes crafting a lot less of a hassle. So let's sleep. Sorry, middle of the day. Here we go. I did get surprised by a husk the other day, so there are still the occasional nasties spawning. Looks fairly safe. Do I hear a skeleton? Oh, it's this thing still going. Well, carry on. Carry on! Right. Let's fix the walls first. And do that whole thing. Yeah. So as you can see, the water comes sprinting through. If I do all these now, should be able to do all of those. Ah yes, except for sand. Okay. Seems fine. We'll do these one at a time. You actually save a lot of time just by punching out the dirt. It's quicker than turning to shovel, shoveling dirt, switching to glass, glassing the hole. It's just blur. Ah, swing and a miss. You can tell it's been all... Ah, portable. Carry on my wayward son. I think I had that for my... we went to France in the summer last year, and so I did a Spotify playlist for tunes, car tunes, and I'm always in the middle of swing and a miss. I'm always torn between sort of classic rock for myself, with a little bit of true metal, and like new metal for my wife. So it's just like, oh, but yeah, we definitely had that track on there. I picked up 3 or 4 tracks from a like a 70s Radio Riders kind of playlist, which was extremely cool. Very, very fond of that playlist. And after about the 3rd or 4th song, I was like, do you know what? I'm just going to download the whole thing. Just I need it all. I need more. Yeah, so tooling through France at 130 kilometers per hour, with some classic tunes. Just laying waste to a whole bunch of these, and I found an enormous hole here that goes all the way down into the depths. I'm not going to go down there now, but I'm pretty darn sure that this hole didn't used to be here. I think a certain 8-year-old has been on this computer. I must have left it on. I must have left it on and popped to the loo or something, because he doesn't know my Windows password. Because one thing 8-year-olds are prone to do is wipe your machine. But oh, that was so sweet. There's my hammer. But yeah, one thing 8-year-olds are quite prone to do is wipe Windows when you're not looking. Daddy, what does del star dot star do? I saw it on YouTube. Get up! Ow! Ow! I saw after that extremely embarrassing drowning incident in one of the other series that I would not drown again. Never. It looks a bit like a shark tunnel in Jaws 2. Yeah, I'm not in the business of terrifying myself, so I don't think I've seen Jaws 2. I know I've seen Jaws 1, but I don't remember when, where, or who I was with. I'm pretty darn sure I've seen it, because I remember when Sequest DSV came out. Do you remember that? Sequest DSV. Lovely idea. Cancelled before its time. Let's not have a Firefly discussion. And I remember because I saw, I think it's Roy Schneider, isn't it? And I was just like, dude, I know you. Where do I know you from? It took me ages, and I eventually thought, right, okay, he's from Jaws. But I was thinking the other day, I was just like, have I seen Jaws? I do think I have. Wow, that did an awful lot of. I mean, considering I left it running for ages without any sound in there at all. Okay, so let's try and work out now how we're going to do. Why are we not picking up any of this sound? Dump the salmon. Pick all the sand up. Nom 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 nom. Because we're going to need it for glass. Doink, doink, doink. Yeah, adding Jaws to a movie playlist. There are some movies that I really haven't seen, or I saw them so very long ago. Okay, so let's see how this works. Powered rail. Click. Yeah, working fine. Okay, so then rail. Donk, donk, donk. And one there. now we should be able to drop a powered rail and have it be powered. Yup. Parfait. No, what everybody like parfait. There we go. Okay. So, let's do the same at the other end. You've forgotten that I haven't seen Sharknado. I have not seen Sharknado. Although I'm not sure why they didn't call it Shurricane. They should just come to me for these things. All these names. I'm just perfect at it. Do. Got that song in my head now. Thanks, Paul. Looking at you, buddy. Alright, so let's powered rail this. Womp, womp, womp. Well, of course, they're entities, so I can stand on them while I place them. Nice. Nice! Schmirk. Okay, so let's go this way. I could do this mathematically, but I'm not going to. Oh, we've got a flat one. Okay. Oh, you. Oh, you're a zombie. Speaking of zombies, sad loss this week. It's starting to distress me when people are beginning to die when they were born in the 70s, like I was. It's getting awfully close for comfort. Okay. I still got time. Or actually, we can light the place up, can't we? So, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. This is entirely arbitrary, by the way. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Hey, buddy. The hell did he come from? It's still sunlight. Come on. It's still daytime. Mental. Anyway. Ahem. 1, 3. 1, 3. 1, 3. Oh, that nearly works. Oh, I'm so gonna fudge that. There we go. Fudge it. No, I've chosen that distance for the torches completely arbitrarily. We don't want something spawning down here, because if something spawns down there, it's going to be game over and no mistake. Because the last thing that you expect when you're minecarting happily is to run into a creeper, which stops you. You're trapped in a minecart. You need to remember to press shift to get out of the minecart. Then you need to move. No. Meeting a creeper in a minecart is almost always a recipe for pain, suffering, dogs and cats and sharks living together. Mass hysteria. Okay. Not looking too bad. Once we've built the thing, we can make the thing prettier. But for right now, I just wanted to get it started. I need a faster way over to that biome, because running everywhere is not only eating me out of salmon and cod. Oh, so much fish. I subsisted purely on fish for goodness knows how many days in game now. You can see my nose is coming back now. Going back to haunt me. Let us make some more torches. There we go. Get the feeling we're being watched. Oh, it's you! Squiddy! Pepper! Okay, we're going to leave the squid alone for now. Might have to build them a little tunnel underneath so they can get through. Like a hedgehog tunnel. They're the best. So 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Not sure that really works out, but okay. Problem is now my gear is so heavily enchanted that I just break things in seconds. There are stone blocks in the game which are silverfish blocks, where they take a little bit longer to mine. Like instead of half a second, they take a second and a half, something like that, and they just explode into dozens, hundreds of these little things. It feels like hundreds. It's probably about 5. And he's just getting ripped apart by these tiny little silverfish, which just flop around on the floor of your dungeon, on the floor of your mine, and wreck you. But when you have really well enchanted gear, it's hideous because, of course, you're just like breaking blocks left and right and smashing through stuff. And there we go. Pump, pump. Let's stop it here for now. And yeah, you never tell when you're mining through a silverfish. There we go. Toss those. Press the button. That works. Jolly good. Let's go and make a minecart. Probably do without that now. Got everything? Yep. Cool. So yeah, we're gonna have to do Sharknado at some point. Jaws first, maybe. Okay. What did I come here for? Minecart. There we are. Not enough iron, of course. Let's see if we have one already available. Yes. Redstone up, that up, that up, that up. Yeah. That's fine. Then we can test this thing works. A shark movie day. An entire day. Yeah, we'll grab a Saturday or something and just bring like vast amounts of snacks. Snacks. Okay, where are we? Minecarting. Doink. There we go. So in we get to the minecart. Punch the button. So that's working. And then yes, oh shift. And then that's going to run through here, along here. Yeah. We're going to go blazing past this area. Turn a slight corner. Very difficult to go diagonally in. With. I can't show you because I've put the rails away, but you kind of have to do stairs in order to go diagonally. Because sometimes this game is just really fond of its blocks. Make sure there are no surprises. No surprises, please. Oh yeah, that's my little jetty. There's a boat waiting there as well. And then we're going to burn across to there and have a station. Have a station here, because then we're right next to this swamp biome, and there are things that spawn there that we're going to need. Oh yes. So that's the plan. That is the plan for the minecart system. Doopy-doopy-doo. Hello. Moo. I don't know how on earth that cow got there, actually. Where are you from? Not much. I suppose you could have spawned in this green area, couldn't you? I suppose. Mr. Frodo? I ain't dropped no eaves, sir, honest. Okay, so we are already well underway with our new minecart system. I have spoken about the jetty, the fishing jetty, and the insane fishing rod. What else? Is there anything else to talk about? Yes, there is one more thing. I'd forgotten it down. I had a list of things to talk about, and I forgot this one. So let's do it. Choo choo. Yeah. Choo choo. I just can't even finish that statement without breaking the PG-13. Okay. So, as you may recall from our terrifying Nether editions, I think making that hole was probably the dumbest thing I ever did. Really warm. Okay. So as you may recall, I dug all the way through here in search of a Nether fortress. There's a giant hole down here, isn't there? Lovely glowstone. Lovely, lovely glowstone. Yeah, we dug all the way through here, and we eventually found a Nether fortress. And that was fine. We are in hell now. Yes, this is the hell biome. In fact, if I press F3 and bring up the debug chat, you can see about just under halfway down on the left-hand side, biome hell. It doesn't mess about. It is literally what it is. Well, I don't think I've been up there. That's interesting. I have to go up there. But we're not going to be completely. Is that a pig zombie? Zombie pigman. I can hear a blade. I think I can hear a magma cube as well. They sound squishy. I think they should probably sound like someone being beaten to death with a burlap sack full of rocks, but you know, that's me. What? I was going to say you can't just disappear. That's unfair. So we've got to be on the lookout for ghasts, and that guy's just seen me. Okay, so zombie pigman is fine. That's what I'm worried about. He's disappeared, which is odd. Okay, let's just get moving, eh? Let's not sit around and wait to be killed. So, but we have been building some bits and pieces down here. So we do at least have a vaguely safe little hovel down here. Oh, I'm getting shot. I see you. But then I thought, yes, the Nether has a bit of a distance. Oh, can you see me from there? I don't think so. The Nether has a distance dilation effect. If you run 10 blocks in the Nether and then build another portal, you may find yourself about 100 blocks away in the overworld from when you started. So space is compressed here. So I thought, sweet, let's build another portal and see where we come out. This was the answer. It dumped me underground, but not too far underground. I think here we are Y59, so we're only about 10-15 blocks. We're only about 10 or 15 blocks away from where we were. So that's a map. Unknown map. Why would you say that? It's not an unknown map at all. It works. Works fine. Very strange. Anyway, so I built up to ground level, and I dropped a magenta bed of magentaness for if I ever arrived here when it was dark, which it is. So let's have a snooze, and I shall show you where this comes out. So don't forget, we now have the mega taiga biome to explore, thanks to those bizarre and eldritch teleporters that came from absolutely nowhere. I can't tell you where they came from. And so this brings us out here. Black sheep, very cool. That reminds me, we need to use some squid ink on a sheep. So let's get some height on this. Let's see where we are. Please don't let there be creepers. There are always creepers. So yeah, this is a completely new area. We have a lot of grass around. Now I think these grassy areas here, I think they eventually lead over to the swampy area where we're currently building a minecart track to. Because I think I did write down the distances that I travelled, the difference between here and where we spawned in the terracotta biome. Oh, very nice. So yeah, I wrote down the distances, and we're only about, I think we're about 1,000 blocks in one direction, about 300 blocks in the other direction. So in terms of our XZ translation, we've only, we haven't moved far. But it is over 1,000 blocks away, so it's pretty cool. There's going to be a load of stuff to explore. White sheep. Jump over you. Oof, it's altogether too dark under here. So it's an excellent source of dark wood, dark oak, which is very cool. And for Castro especially, we have horses. So we've got horses as well, so we're going to be taming those. Yeah, there's lots of really cool stuff here. This is dark as all hell. Just attaching burning torches to trees, don't mind me. I know they're at an angle, but come on, they've got to still be hot. So yeah, there are horses over here, and everything. Mushroom trees, this one. Very cool. So let's get back to where we were. Whoa! That's a giant hole in the ground. What the what? That goes way down. Way down we go. And I am lost. No, I'm not. There we are. Yes, I am. What? I know it's here somewhere. I built a wall around it and everything. Oh, it's probably still further this way, isn't it? Yeah, we did run around the outside a bit. Anyone sing out if you see any cobblestone. There's the giant hole. Ugh, right. Horses are there. They were on the right, so it must be this way. There we go. I'm not lost. Okay, so now just a terrifying run back through the Nether, and we'll be all good. So yeah, that's what happens if you build another. Build this one, but I did build this one, and later on in the game we can run even further in the Nether. Why am I stopping still? Get moving, get moving, get moving. Later on we'll build another one to see where we come out. It's easily the best way, aside from me popping into creative mode and cheating like a scoundrel. It's the best way to get around in true survival mode, because you can travel phenomenal distances, particularly if you're stuck with a crazy seed that is just means it's nothing but clay for 1,000 miles in every direction. But it is a really neat trick. Distances in the Nether are crazy compressed. awfully clever idea, that. We like that. Get a lot. So yeah, new seus with this lovely motion blur effect, which is absolutely delicious. So yeah, new seus. We have a jetty. We have a new fishing rod of awesomeness. We'll be building an iron farm, although I don't think we'll be using that properly in the game. So we have a brand new iron farm up there. Bob Hart is still where we left it. Hello. The Institute of Ruminant Science is still doing really well. Obviously headed up by its chief scientist, Carlos. Oh, bless, the name tag throws a shadow. You see Carlos there in shadow. Nice, nice. Nine. We have Leeroy. Where are you, Leeroy? We can actually find him now. Leeroy, there you are, buddy. I know, mate. Tell me about it. So yeah, we have a whole bunch of new things. The streaming schedule will now be back on track. Again, very sorry for unwitting hiatus. It was not designed that way, I have to say. So, thank you for joining me. My name's Jamie. It has been a pleasure to host you again. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.